Mel Gibson is making a sequel to his 2004 film The Passion of the Christ. The original movie was a big success, especially among American evangelicals, and it gained popularity internationally. It followed the story from the Gospel of John and included elements from Catholic traditions and the visions of Anne Catherine Emmerich. However, the release was controversial, with accusations of anti-Semitism, partly due to Gibson's own controversies. Since 2004, Gibson has talked about making a sequel to continue the story. The Passion of the Christ was a significant biblical movie, and now Gibson aims to turn it into a kind of franchise. This move isn't surprising, given the trend of turning successful films into franchises. It remains to be seen if Gibson can create another hit that resonates with the evangelical audience that embraced the first movie. The latest news about Mel Gibson's upcoming film, The Passion of the Christ Resurrection, reveals intriguing details about its scope, scale, and cast. The official IMDb page title has been changed to The Passion of the Christ Resurrection Part 1, suggesting it might be a multi-part film. According to actor Jim Caviezel, who is reprising his role as Jesus, there's a possibility of it being 2 or even 3 films. The confirmation of Passion of the Christ 2 came with news that filming is set to begin in spring 2023. Jim Caviezel, who played Jesus in the first film, stated that the script had been completed in September 2020, boldly claiming it would be the biggest film in world history. Randall Wallace collaborated with Gibson on the script, expressing his interest in continuing the story. The IMDb page lists a 2024 release window, subject to change as more information becomes available. Jim Caviezel's return as Jesus is a significant development, considering the impact of the first film on his career. Several other original cast members are also expected to return, including Maia Morgenstern as Mary, Francesco DeVito as Peter, and Christo Gikov as John. However, it remains uncertain if Monica Bellucci and Rosalinda Celentano will reprise their roles as Magdalene and Satan, respectively. The Passion of the Christ Resurrection is expected to explore the period between Jesus' death and resurrection, emphasizing the 3 days believed by Christians to include Jesus' descent into hell. While the resurrection is a crucial element, reports suggest the focus will be on events not explicitly detailed in the Bible, continuing the trend set by the first film. Scenes may draw inspiration from Catholic visionaries like Mary of Jesus of Agreda and Anne Catherine Emmerich, particularly her vision known as the harrowing of hell. The harrowing of hell portrays Jesus descending into hell, breaking down its walls, and declaring war on the devil. This interpretation, not explicitly detailed in the Bible, has sparked debates among Christians. If Gibson chooses to emphasize this aspect, he may face challenges in uniting evangelicals, as he did with the first film. The controversial nature of Mel Gibson's film stems from various factors that have sparked debates and criticisms since its release in 2004. Despite telling the story of the life and death of Jesus Christ, the film has been mired in controversy rather than universally embraced. One significant aspect contributing to the controversy is the mixed reception from both critics and audiences. While some hailed it as one of the most important biblical epics ever made, others found it offensive and appalling. The divisive reactions highlight the film's polarizing impact, setting the stage for ongoing discussions. Despite its potential to be an inspiring and educational film, especially for Christian audiences, The Passion of the Christ became a lightning rod for controversy. Its graphic portrayal of violence and shock value drew criticism, with some arguing that these elements were employed to push Mel Gibson's personal views onto audiences. The focus on repugnant imagery, coupled with sparse moments dedicated to explaining the history of Jesus, left many viewers questioning the film's intentions. The Passion of the Christ, while purporting to tell the story of Jesus Christ's final 12 hours, has faced criticism for historical and biblical inaccuracies, contributing to its controversial nature. Despite claiming to be accurate, the film deviates from established religious texts and introduces elements that are not supported by biblical accounts. One overarching inaccuracy is the portrayal of Jesus Christ himself. Instead of focusing on his embodiment of love, hope, and kindness, the film emphasizes pain, suffering, hopelessness, and hate. This departure from the traditional portrayal of Jesus as a beacon of light has sparked debates about the film's interpretation of his character. The opening scene in the Garden of Gethsemane introduces an androgynous figure, possibly representing Satan, accompanied by a giant snake. While intended as a reference to the book of Genesis, this depiction lacks biblical evidence of Jesus slaying serpents or being tempted by the devil in that specific setting. Another dramatization for suspenseful effect involves a creepy demon baby mocking Jesus during his torture. This disturbing image, not mentioned in the Bible, adds an element of horror that diverges from traditional biblical narratives. The crucifixion scenes also contain inaccuracies, such as Jesus supposedly carrying the entire weight of the cross, and the debate over whether he was nailed or tied to the cross. The film's portrayal of torture deviates from biblical accounts, prompting historical scrutiny. Additionally, Jesus' physical appearance, including his complexion, hair, beard, and loincloth, is questioned for its accuracy. The film's depiction contradicts historical evidence, suggesting a darker skin tone for Jesus, and the choice of a modest loincloth throughout the torture scenes is deemed inconsistent with the goal of public humiliation. Language inaccuracies also surface, as Jesus is portrayed as fluent in Latin, a claim unlikely based on historical understanding. Furthermore, a scene depicting Jesus inventing the dining room table is a wholly fabricated claim with no biblical basis. One of the film's major sources of controversy is its alleged anti-Semitic nature. The portrayal of Jewish characters as enemies of Jesus, coupled with Mel Gibson's documented derogatory remarks toward Jewish people, has fueled accusations of anti-Semitism. Despite Jesus himself being Jewish, the film fails to acknowledge this fact, perpetuating a false narrative that has drawn backlash from both Jewish and Christian communities. The intentional depiction of Jewish people as an angry, bloodthirsty mob has led to difficulties in distribution and public condemnation. The Passion of the Christ faced criticism for its extreme violence, with the majority of the film depicting Jesus being subjected to whipping, stabbing, beating, and torture. Many critics argued that the film went too far in its portrayal of graphic violence, deeming it both exploitative and voyeuristic. The excessive violence led to discomfort among audience members, with reports of people crying, fainting, and even a woman reportedly suffering a fatal heart attack during the crucifixion scene. Roger Ebert, a renowned film critic, described it as the most violent film he had ever seen. Well, that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below.